Hello and welcome to my class. It is really early and this is the third or fourth attempt at making this video. So let's hope this one works out. I had a lot of problems with my Camtasia software. But luckily for my students, I now tried out Screencastify and kind of realized that was pretty cool. Although I'm not actually recording it in Screencastify today. Nevertheless, if you want to make a screencast, like a time-lapse like I've shown in earlier videos, I would use this website. Pretty cool. Anyways, I already had this in the right place in Google Classroom. To begin, you're going to choose whether or not you're going to make the 200 building or the 300 building. So choose wisely. Maybe you were more interested in the artwork in the 200 building. I don't know. I think because my class is in the 200 building, I'm going to start with that. So I'm going to click on this and it'll give us a little preview. You can see I've kind of combined a few images here, but you need to download this file. So if you're in a classroom like I am, I think you need to go to these three dots up here and open in a new window, and then it will allow you to download it. So I actually set this file up at home, and I'm going to open it up here at work. So you see it puts it in this little icon here, down here in the lower left of Chrome. I'm going to click on it. Oh, I don't know if you heard that or not. I must have gotten an email. Okay, no biggie. Nice. So I'm going to ask this to remind me later. Don't worry about updating stuff because normally, and I'm going to apologize for it. I'm going to very slowly try and take this piece of paper from, that was under the microphone. Okay, here we go. I swear I'm prepared. I have like notes and everything. Although I didn't know I was going to take this many times. So far, so good. Welcome to Adobe Illustrator. I have set up a file for you. And here is the 200 building file. Essentially what this is a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper where I've combined a picture of the satellite imagery, as well as, if I open up this layer of the 200 building, there's a little twirly triangle thing you can click on. I have the map overlay, which is the thing that we were working from yesterday, and a bird's eye view. The bird's eye being the satellite view. So I can hide in my layers tab. So I'm currently working in my layers tab. Watch what happens if I hide the map overlay by clicking on the little eyeball next to that layer. It hides it and it shows us a little preview. And I've done a little bit of the legwork for you. Today is going to be an exercise in using the pen tool. So we'll talk about that a little later. But I just want you to notice how nicely things kind of fit for you. And the 300 building version is just as simple and fun and easy. Next to the eyeball, we have the ability to lock a layer. I'm going to go ahead and turn these on right now because when I start drawing on this, I don't want to move anything. Currently, I can't move anything, but if I were to like unlock this layer, unlock this thing, I could move the map overlay around. So maybe you want to get rid of it or move it over. That's fine. I'm going to Control Z to undo that move. Okay. We're going to make a very nice version of this map that is not so weird. Like this looks like a Tetris thing or whatever that number game you guys play on your phone. I'm not sure. Anyways, let's talk about the pen tool now. So I'm going to lock this layer. And the layers work a little different than in Photoshop. There's a lot of like sub layers. So every time I make a line, we're going to make a lot of lines today using the pen tool. P for pen tool. We're going to do a lot of switching between the V, which is the selection tool. Notice that the letter V looks like a little arrow. That's how you know how to get to it. Or P for the pen tool. Okay. And because I am on a locked layer, it is telling me I cannot write to this layer. So we're going to select the Draw Here layer, and then I have the ability to write. Okay. A few things we've learned recently are zooming in and out. So Control plus, Control minus to zoom out. Also, when you zoom in, so I'm going to zoom in a couple times. Maybe I want to get to the upper portion of the screen, like up here, or of my canvas or artboard. We're going to use the space bar. So with the space bar, I can click and drag down, like so. Okay, very cool. Let me do this again. I'm going to do Control minus to zoom out. And I'm making sure that I'm drawing on the draw here layer. I'm going to use the space bar to drag down. The first thing I want to do is just make an outline. If I hide, let's see. Oh, it's nice because I can have it locked and still hide it. Okay. Oh, actually, that's not true. Interesting. So, you know, play around with the locks here. Mr. Zebarth is also still learning this a little bit. I want to hide this layer though, the map overlay. I'm going to move this over so you can read it a little better. Awesome. So this is pretty much a square, except for these classes here, which look like maybe they were an add-on later. I believe this is like in that little hallway that you go to. This is the LRC that's sticking out, but you know, essentially big old rectangle with a couple little rectangles sticking off of it. For the outer border, let's use the pen tool. Let's trace around this. So I'm going to leave it up to you whether or not you're going to use this little overlay here. One thing that we're going to talk about with this assignment is the ability to simplify things. We don't have to make the map perfectly accurate as far as like where things are in relation to each other. Like maybe we need to make the hallways bigger or smaller depending on what makes more sense. To me, the labeling of this room as 215, it's so small, it doesn't make any sense. The non-labeling of this, yeah. So we're going to go back to the draw here layer, and I'm using the pen tool, and I'm going to just simply click around the building. For this portion of it, I don't think I need this map overlay, so I'm going to hide just the map overlay. So I've got my 200 building, looking at the satellite imagery, I'm using the pen tool. Another thing when you use the pen tool is the colors that you're going to lay down. So we have a fill and we have a stroke. When you hover over them, it tells you what they are. The fill, I don't want there to be any fill. I just want there to be an outline. So I'm going to actually get rid of a fill. And when you get rid of a fill, you'll have a little cross through it, like you see here with the stroke. All right, so right now there will be no stroke, but there will be a white fill. Let's fix this first. There's this little tiny square down here for the default. Notice if you hit the D key, so it says default, fill, and stroke. I'm going to hit the D key on the keyboard. That will make the stroke black and the fill white. With the fill in front, I'm going to click on this little thing to strike out this color. So now there will just be a stroke around my shape, but no fill. So I'm just clicking around, and I'm going to hit the escape key to hide. Oh no, use the V key here. Select away. So that's how you draw a triangle in Adobe Illustrator. I did that very quickly because I actually wasn't planning on drawing anything there. But let's do this again. I'm going to make a little square. Notice there's a lot of snapping going on when you do this. It's kind of nice. It's kind of satisfying. Illustrator will try to align things for you as you click around. So that's going to be very helpful. But I'm just clicking and clicking. And then to end the path, you click where you started, and you get that little circle that pops up. So let me do that again. So see that circle? So that's how you know you're like closing a path. Okay, I'm gonna now show you in the layers here in Adobe Illustrator. So I'm gonna click the little twirly in my draw here layer. I now have 3 sub-layers, 3 paths. These are all paths that are inside my draw here layer. So we're gonna get kind of crazy with the layers, I think. I'm gonna use my selection tool. And in order to ensure that I'm not selecting my picture and moving my pictures around, oh, I think I am locked. Yeah, I'm okay. So it's weird, like you can lock the whole layer or you could just lock the sublayers. I think if you just lock the sublayers, you're good. And since they're locked, now I can use the V key, the selection tool, to just drag a big old selection box and hit delete or backspace. It'll get rid of all those paths. Now I'm going to switch back to the pen tool. And we're going to make an outline of this building. I'm going to ignore the office, so we're just going to use the overhang. I'm going to ignore the nurses thing here. But let's just start in this corner, and I'll click once. Boom. I can force it to be 90 degrees by holding down the Shift key. So we hold down Shift. Notice that little snap that's going on. I'm going to hold down Shift, click here. And then we'll come right in there. Hold down the Shift key. So I didn't hold down Shift, but Illustrator helped me. Boom. Oh, it looks like I could have just kept going there. I'm going to do Control Z to see what happens. Awesome. Oh, that's where I stopped. That's where I did it last time. So I'm just holding Shift and clicking around. One thing we didn't talk about, Mr. Zbarth failed to bring up, is how to control the colors. I mean, I already showed you how to get it black. I'm going to actually ignore this overlay because I think for our map, except the athletic office I know comes out a little bit. Okay. You talked me into it, but I'm going to actually extend it and kind of exaggerate the athletic office. Okay. Boom. Done. I now have this awesome outline of the, what is this called? The 200 building. There's a couple windows that I want to talk about, and that one of them is properties. So there's three windows we're going to use a lot of: properties, layers, and what's also called transparencies if you want to use it. But I don't think I'm going to use it at all, actually. I used it last night, but I'm not going to today. I don't think. No. Let's see now what our outline looks like by hiding the 200 building layer. So I'm going to click on the eyeball. And my layer is selected. So everything that's going to be on this layer is gold, which is very helpful. I'm going to use the selection tool and click away. I got this awesome outline of the 200 building. At any point in time, we can make the line thicker, the stroke, by clicking on the shape. So it selects that whole shape. And then we need to look under the Properties tab here. This is a window. You can always get to the Properties window as well by going under the Window menu and choosing Properties. If your Illustrator looks totally different than mine, you need to look under the Workspace menu here. I'm under the Essentials. By default, you should be under Essentials, though. Let's see what it looks like with this path when it has a little bit of a thicker stroke. So I'm going to click on that path, and under stroke you can see it's only 1 point right now. I'm going to go up to 2, and for me I'm going to leave it there. Later we're going to have to type a bunch of numbers in here. We're not even going to do the numbering today, we're just doing the outlining. So I don't know, 3 or 4. Maybe the outside of it will be thicker than the inside. That's totally up to you. I do not care. I'd like to be able to see properties and layers at the same time. So one easy way to change this is to just drag properties and down. You should see a blue line at the very bottom of this window, and it should be a horizontal line. So now I have properties down here. Libraries uses Creative Cloud, which you don't have an account, I don't think. I don't know a lot about libraries, I'll be honest. Okay, awesome. Let's turn back on my 200 building layer. And now that I have this outline, I don't think I even need the bird's eye satellite shot anymore. So I'm going to hide that, clicking on the eyeball, and show the map overlay. Yeah, you can see where we're going with this. You can also see that, let's see, 223. LRC is in the right spot, really. What is this 223? Let's look at the let's refer to the satellite imagery here. Did I mess up? No, that's a little garden that's out there. That's fine. I don't even have. Do I have my notes? Let me just see if I got my notes. Excuse me. I don't have my webcam on because I've so much glitchiness with the software. 223 is definitely there. 201 is the one that's AB. Yeah, I mean, just reality, I guess. So this might be something that you want to change. I'm just discovering this now, but yeah. Anyways, let's start tracing. I'm going to use the pen tool now, so I'm going to hit the P key on the keyboard. And I also want to hide the bird's eye, the satellite. I don't need that right now. This is going to be tricky, so I'm going to have to fit. There's a lot of stuff to squeeze in here, and these classes are kind of small. So, you know, maybe we'll ignore that. I'll let you solve that problem. I'm going to show you how to do the really easy stuff over here, because that's just the kind of guy I am. So we're in the draw here layer, and we've got one path. I hit the P key for my pen tool, and I'm going to just simply, let's make an outer box here. And I'm going to use a smaller stroke. I'm going to just use a 2-point stroke. Yep. And since I'm using a 2-point stroke, I'm also going to turn this to 2-point stroke. Simplify. Keep it simple. Don't get too fancy. Z-Barth. Now I can click. And, I'm going to click away from this. So I hit the V key and select away from it. Go back to the P key for pen. And let's make a little hallway here, or a little area for this group of classes. So I'll click anywhere along this path. Boom. And when I do that, you'll notice that I now have a little path thingy, a line that is extending from this shape. If I hold down the Shift key, it will keep it like so, straight, 90 degrees. Click there once. Hold down the Shift key. Click when I'm on. I'm using the pen tool, so it's a little shaky. You might want to use the mouse for this. At least to begin with, I think. I don't know. So now I don't really know what to do because I've made these two perpendicular lines, but I'm kind of like hanging out with this thing. Look, if I click, you're gonna get stuck in this line, badness. I'm gonna do Control Z to go backwards. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Okay, so if you're like this, just hit Escape on the keyboard. Escape. And then you're done. Now we can start adding more stuff. Okay, faculty restrooms. I remember the student restrooms are here too, right? So we had to split these things up. Not sure how we're gonna do that yet. I'm gonna really just make this intersection in the middle here. Hold on the Shift key. We're now at a point where if you're comfy, oh, I guess I didn't add it there. I'm gonna hold on the Shift key and click. There we go. Hit Escape to escape out of that. One little tip, if you're still watching, I'm gonna choose the map overlay, unlock it, and under, transparency. So there's a transparency window. Let's go under Window, choose Transparency, and opacity of this. I'm gonna select Map Overlay first. There we go. And then turn the opacity down a bit. Oh, that is selecting my path. Okay, so we got to talk about these target things here. This is a target. This is the selected art. Right now it's turning the opacity of that line down here that's selected. My map overlay is on a blue layer here. How do I get out of this? Oh, I need to select my selection tool. And we're going to target now the correct layer. Now, just because I've selected this layer doesn't mean that I've actually selected the artwork yet. I need to click on, I believe, look, click to target. So I'm going to target the map overlay. So now that is the actual selected thing. And you can tell because there's a blue bounding box here. Now I'll turn the opacity down of my transparency window. We're getting some high level stuff here, people. Now I can see my lines a little more clearly. I'm going to click and drag this and maybe dock it in this little window here. Fun. Let's go back to my draw here layer. Let's select that. Maybe we even target it. Yes, good. And now I'm going to click on the lock, so I'm not messing up my other layers. Let's keep tracing. So we're gonna use the pen tool. And this part should get kind of fun here. I'm just gonna hold down the shift key and then escape. Click, hold down shift to make sure you have a straight line. Escape, escape, whoops. Click, click, escape. Now, Mr. Zbarth, are you referring to your map? I am not referring to my map. I'm kind of working from my memory right now. You should be looking at a map too. And I'm not going to give away all the secrets because, you know, we had some people that maybe were not, maybe they didn't do both buildings. Let's just put it that way. All right, there were a lot of mistakes, especially with the SRC and the LRC. Maybe you ask around. I'm going to zoom in. Control plus, control plus, control plus. This handle just popped up. Things can get weird with the pen tool. One thing that you're not doing with the pen tool is dragging much. It's really a click motion. Hold down the shift key and click again. I'm going to hit escape to show you what I mean. If you click and drag, you get these handles, which we'll talk about later. This is something if you want to make nice curvy lines. It's fun, little blob that I can draw. And then we'll hit escape. This is something for later, and if you want to be an illustrator, this is what you're going to use a lot of, the pen tool. It's like your new little tool of choice. Okay, but for this assignment, mostly straight lines. Let's keep going. How do you know you're done? You know you're done when you have drawn the outline of the entire building. So I'm gonna just keep working here, and I'm only tracing this map. So if you're following along this video, you're probably gonna be missing a lot of buildings. So sorry, I'm not gonna show you what to fix. I'm not gonna really show you how to address, I don't think, except look, here's a hint of how you might want to address this problem here with the 223 building. You know, perhaps this is 223. I'm gonna escape. So look, we're already kind of cutting ourselves off here. Yeah, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna show you how to delete something. At some point, you're gonna have to delete some lines. For example, if you want to delete these lines here for the hallway later, or let's say like there's not a room here. This is the hallway. I'm gonna zoom in. I'm going to choose my scissor tool. The scissor tool is under, there's like a knife tool. It's not the knife tool. It's not the slice tool. Look under the eraser tool. So I'm going to click and hold on the eraser tool and choose scissors, or you could choose the C key. C. And what's fun about this is that I'll just click on this corner here. I'll click on this corner here. Please use an anchor point, but not an end point of a path. Oh, looks like we need to go down here. Boom. The V key to select my little path and then hit delete. Another way to fix lines is to just simply click on the line itself and drag it to the left. If you hold down shift, it'll snap it. Nice. So probably one of these needs to be extended. Now let's wait for it to snap. If you ever double click on something, you'll get stuck in this like isolation mode. That's what these this little back button is here. I'm gonna click backwards. Okay. So yeah, watch. Double click gets you in trouble. Click on the back button. There we go. That wasn't exact. So, who knows? Don't stress. Don't try and do too much. Just do the outlines. Just the outlines. Yeah. I'm going to suggest you start working on your own at this point. You might also want to think about like how big are each room going to be? Is each room going to be? The hallways should probably be the same width, so you might want to watch that. If you ever want to adjust, maybe not like the whole shape. For example, if I wanted to extend this whole line out this way, you can use this other selection tool. Whoops, I'm gonna undo what I just did. That's the direct selection tool. So with the direct selection tool, you can do things like drag over just these two lines. I think I can pull it out. If I hold down shift, yeah, see, it just pulls that out. Another fun trick, maybe you don't like the harsh edges of the corners here. If you drag on these circles, it will create these nice rounded edges. So nice. So yeah, that's fun too. I don't know. What do you want to do? How are you going to outline this? I don't know, but it's time. I got to go. I have a sub coming in. I got kids coming in. Please just send me a screenshot of your outline and submit it to the assignment, and we'll see how we do from there. Let me know how you did. Let me know how you like Illustrator. Thank you. Goodbye.